Hello, I'm Steve Munden from iBizify. This is an introduction to Outlook on the web. Although similar in appearance to the free consumer version of Outlook at outlook.com, this introduction concerns the business version that is included with most Microsoft 365 business plans. Let's dive in. To get to Outlook on the web, you can always go directly to outlook.office.com in your web browser. You might want to bookmark this for access in the future. If you're not already signed in, you'll need to enter your username and password. Click sign in. If you see this message to stay signed in, I recommend you click yes if you're on a private and secure computer. Here we are logged into Outlook. If you ever forget how or where to go to get to Outlook on the web, the other way you can get there is by going to office.com, which takes you into the Office portal, sign in. You can open up the Office launcher in the top left-hand corner and click on Outlook. And here's our inbox. You can click on your messages to preview and read them. Reply and forward buttons are at the top of the message. And if you want to focus on a message a bit more, you can double click on it to open it up. You can create a new message by clicking on the new message button in the top left-hand corner or pressing the N key on your keyboard. Here we are creating a new message. We can add recipients from the suggested contacts or manually typing in an email address, or we can click on the to button here to open up the address book and add contacts from here. Let's fill in our message. Then click send. The other thing to note when you're creating a new message is there are a bunch of formatting options down the bottom here. You could attach files, add pictures, and so on. Back on this main screen, I'm going to reply to a couple of messages. And then I'm going to preview some other messages. Now, whilst I'm doing that, notice down the bottom here, we have these tabs which are showing up, keeping track of the things that we've got open. So we can switch between the draft emails and replies which we're working on, as well as emails that we're previewing. On the left-hand side here, we have our folder list. If you have any subfolders, you'll see them on, they have this little right-facing arrow that's quite subtle in the folder list. You can open up subfolders by clicking on these arrows. Also notice that right-clicking is supported throughout most of Outlook, so there's some handy options if you right-click on your emails, and there's also a right-click menu for the folders. One of the particular folder options I wanted to highlight was the Add to Favorites option. If you right click on a folder and add it to favorites, it will show up in the top left hand corner and will always be available there for you for quick access. So I'm going to add my sent items to my favorites as well. So there they are. We can also drag to reorder these in whatever way suits us. We've also got a full mailbox search option at the top here. By default it searches your entire mailbox, but you can choose specific folders if you prefer. And in the search results there's a few filtering options you can choose from. Now, one question I'm asked quite frequently is how to open shared mailboxes, and I understand that because it's not immediately obvious. If you have been given permission to open a certain shared mailbox, there is in fact two ways of doing it. The first is to open up the mailbox directly. To do this, click on your profile icon in the top right and click Open Another Mailbox, and then type in the full address of that mailbox, usually the email address for that box, and do click on the suggestion that comes up here and then click Open. This now appears in a new tab, and you can also bookmark the address up here for future reference so that you can get straight to it in future. I'm going to go back to my own mailbox, show you the second way of opening shared mailboxes, and that is to right click on folders here on the left in your folder pane, right click and then click Add Shared Folder. Similar to before, if you put in the address of the mailbox you're opening, click on the suggestion, click Add, and then have a look down, usually towards the left hand side, you'll see that mailbox show up in your folder list. It's collapsed by default, so click on the small arrow to open up the rest of the mailbox. And there it is, and that will stay then in your folder list for quick, easy access in future. Now there's also a few shortcuts and navigational items here in Outlook that I wanted to highlight. Up in the top right hand corner, one is the OneNote note feed. So this gives you quick access to your recent notes and allows you to search through them and add new ones, which is super handy. And we also have My Day, which gives you a quick overview of your upcoming tasks and events. You can also add tasks to today or add them to your overall task list. There's also quick shortcuts to opening the full To-Do app and a shortcut to the calendar. I wanted to point out to you that any time you want to get to your calendar, you can do so by clicking on the calendar icon on the left hand side here. Let's go and have a look at that. And here is the calendar. It's currently in month view. We can change the month view to various other views. I find work week quite helpful. You may also want to check out the brand new board view, which is like an infinite pin board where you can not only view your calendar, but you can view task lists and you can add various items. You can scroll around, zoom in, zoom out, and add various new items. You could have a particular project where you need to keep track of certain documents. You can add maps, people, time zones, all kind of stuff. Let's go back to the regular view. You can always change views by going to the view icon in the top right hand corner. Let's go back to working week. Here we are back in the regular calendar. Let's go back to email now. We can always go back to our email by clicking on the mail icon in the top left-hand corner. Finally, I wanted to highlight the settings menu in the top right-hand corner. Various things you can do in here, including changing the overall appearance. You can turn on desktop notifications so that you get a pop-up when you've got emails and calendar notifications. You can change various view settings, and there's a whole lot more you can do by clicking on the View All Outlook Settings button here to go into the full settings menu. So there are many more great and useful features to learn about on Outlook on the web. We've just scratched the surface here. I'll soon be sharing some of my favourite hints and tips that can boost your productivity in Outlook, so watch this space. If you have any questions or thoughts, do share them in the comments. Thanks for listening.